Hello, this is Randall Standridge, composer, and starting a video blog today about a project, a commission that I've got happening right now. And with the gracious permission of the commissioning party, which is Little Rock Central High School, and their conductor, Mr. Bryce Evans, he's allowing me to share this video blog with everybody. And you'll probably see why here in a little bit. So anyway, to give you a background of this project before I kind of describe it, I have been commissioned by the Little Rock Central High School Band, and more specifically the Little Rock Central Historic Society, to create a piece of music commemorating the integration of Little Rock Central High School in 1957. This year, 2017, is the 70th anniversary, and so I am creating a work based around this. And I'm very, very excited from it for a number of reasons. I mean, first of all, I'm an Arkansas native. I've lived in Arkansas all my life. Grew up in Little Rock. Didn't attend Central. I went to Sheridan High School. But, Little Rock history and Little Rock culture is very near and dear to me, obviously. So I was very honored to be asked to do this. Anyway, I'm also excited about it because this piece of music is going to be very serious and very artistic. And the reason I say that, not that my music hasn't been in the past, but I think this music is going to carry, this piece is going to carry a little more weight than a lot of my other music has, and I'm very excited to show that off. A lot of people tend to think of me as the Adrenaline Engines guy, or whatever, the guy that writes fast music, and I think sometimes they forget that I am a classically trained composer. I had excellent teachers. Dr. Tom O'Connor and Dr. Tim Christ, and a little bit of teaching from Dr. Jared Spears, all at Arkansas State University. And so, I can write music. I can write, anything from pop music and kind of that pop style, which I'm a little bit known for, all the way to avant-garde. The reason a lot of you haven't heard the avant-garde stuff is because that's really not, what sells, and more importantly, what music publishers have come to expect from me. So it's a little bit hard to get those things in. Although I will say that if you want to check out some of my more artistic stuff, be sure to check out one of my new releases this year entitled Morpheus. Might give you a little different perspective on the old Standridge stuff. But anyway, so I'm excited about this because I think it'll give me a better chance to showcase my real compositional talent, dig a little deeper and show people that I do have the chops to be a real serious composer. So that's a little personal, chip on my shoulder. I'll just knock that off. But I am going to be happy to tackle something a little more serious. And then, of course, also, those of you that know anything about me personally know that I am very progressive. I try not to share my political views too much, like on Facebook and social media, because nobody wins in that stuff. But, just to give you a little bit more about me, I am very progressive. I am a firm believer in equal rights. I am a firm believer in racial equality, gender equality, all these things like that. These issues are very near and dear to me and very important to me. And so, this historical event, which dealt with racial integration into schools, and being a former educator, this is a really important topic and a really important, thing for me to do. So I'm very excited about approaching it and kind of giving my perspective on things. To give you a little background, because I realize not everybody watching this will know, the significance of the Little Rock 9 or the Little Rock Central integration, I'm going to give you the real brief crash course in what that event is, but I encourage you to study it and to look it up. It's kind of both a dark and good spot in Arkansas history. It was the whole part of the nation during that time was kind of dark, but hopefully we've progressed out of that. So just to give you the background, of course we should all be familiar. In 1954, the Brown versus the Board of Education case was decided that separate was not equal, and so schools should be integrated, which was a big win for racial equality and really important in American history. But anyway, 3 years later in 1957, the governor of Arkansas, Governor Orville Farbus, and unfortunately, a large contingent of Arkansas citizens were still very opposed to integration, and this was the year that Little Rock Central High School was going to be integrated. African American students were finally going to be permitted to participate and attend school with their white classmates. So what happened was the governor, Orville Farbus, ordered the Arkansas National Guard to block the students from entering the school. I mean, they were not allowed. And so we'll take a look at this picture right here. So you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a very startling and arresting image, but I mean, that was what actually happened. So anyway, the mayor of Little Rock, the capital city of Little Rock, got in touch with President Eisenhower and asked him to intervene, which he did. He federalized the Arkansas National Guard and sent in some more troops, and they escorted the students into the school and kind of forced integration. So this was a really important moment in Arkansas history. I mean, it was, and unfortunately, I mean, it's one of those moments where I'm ashamed of the way that I'm just going to be blunt. I'm ashamed of the way my state reacted, and that even had to be done. But you can't change history. This is what happened. I mean, of course, there's a lot more to the story. I mean, it wasn't like happy times right after integration. I mean, the books that you can read and the accounts, from the students who attended the Little Rock Nine are very upsetting to anybody who cares about equality and everything. I mean, it's they were not necessarily treated well. I mean, things were not just fine after that. But be that as it may, it was an important step and kind of showed that the government was willing to flex their muscle to make sure that everybody had equality, and I think that's a good thing. So that's what this piece is about. And again, please do more research on it. I've researched it a lot more than that, but that's kind of the short version. But read up on it, especially if you care about civil rights and equality. That it's an important moment in history. So anyway, I've actually got commissioned this. We talked about this piece, me and the director, Mr. Bryce Evans, about a year ago. And so for the past year, I've just been kind of sketching, researching, of course, because I wanted to make sure that my knowledge was much better than it was, and just getting ideas for how to approach this piece. And so I think the piece is going to be really, really fun. Fun in the sense of effective. What I've done so far is I've written an original spiritual that symbolizes the students, and the piece is going to start with that, and it's going to be repeated a few times. Actually starts with the vocalist, or at least that's the idea right now, and then works into kind of an angrier section, which is the hatred and oppression and the opposition to equality speaking its voice, so that you've got this back and forth between all these motives representing that plus the motive of the spiritual. And so it goes through all kinds of progressions, all kinds of mutations, until finally the spiritual will arrive again very triumphant, very larger than life, and that will be the ending of the piece, plus a little tag that we'll talk about at a later moment during these video blogs. But anyway, so that's kind of the big thing. I know that sounds very simple. It took me a long time to arrive at that structure. Plus, I've been sketching out textures, harmonic progressions, motives that I might want to use, kind of experimenting with things. So I've been in kind of play mode. Today was my first serious day of sitting down and really orchestrating the piece, writing it, and structuring it out. I've got about the first 2 minutes done. It's probably going to take me about 2 months to complete it, and I know that may seem like a long time, but those of you that know me also know that I write for marching band, and that season is kicking up. So I have to, as a composer and as a professional, make sure that I'm meeting all of my obligations in a good manner. So I'm having to split my time between different projects and juggle things, but that's the name of the game. So anyway, I'm very excited about where this project will lead. I've just told you my idea for the piece and kind of where things are now. Of course, that could change as I go through the piece. I could discover some other aspects that I want to explore, some other musical ideas that I think will make sense. And that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of writing a piece of music like that and creating something that hasn't existed before. You can control it, change it, edit it. And I'm going to be very excited to see where this goes, and I hope you will be too. So anyway, this is Video Blog 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will have an update in a week or so, and we'll see how the piece is progressing. So as always, peace, love, and music.